Well, only one of them is going to be
We'll
there.
see.
That's for sure. So, I mean, we know that. I mean, it's
Only one of them
you
has
hope
chance.
one of them going to be. You hope
Yeah.
one of them is going to be there.
I was going to
That's what you hope.
say, well, yeah, you're right. You're right. You better hope you get one of them.
You mess around with fire and get your ass burnt. Bring in 2 guys, blah 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 blah. Okay, well then we'll see what happens. Maybe there's a backup plan. I don't know. If they do the right thing, we are in Mustang, Oklahoma. They are 25 minutes away from the campus.
Yeah.
At Mustang High School as well.
Yeah. Before you go, what do you feel about the deal with Jaden? I know you and Coop are kind of talking about it. I've been kind of going back and forth, but what are your feelings there on that situation? Do you see him ending up at Oklahoma?
We're gonna stay locked in where we're at with what we got going on. We have to continue to. It's my job as his manager to make sure that I'm proactive in this recruiting process. We've been committed to Oklahoma. We moved from Los Angeles, California, to Mustang, Oklahoma, to be closer to the process, to build relationships, to get in there and start learning and get acclimated. Um, Things have changed on their end and their pursuit of wanting to bring in 2 top tier quarterbacks in the class, which has never really been done. Somebody please show me a stat or show me where 2 top 15 or top 20 quarterbacks in the same class has been brought in, or show me one school right now that has 2 quarterbacks in the same class. There ain't. So ideally, respectfully, Coach Buck was a good dude. I got a chance to meet him. He you like what you like, fellas. And I tell people all the time, there can be top 10 quarterbacks around the country, but everybody likes their 10 differently, right? And they
Yeah.
rank their 10 differently. And there's nothing wrong with that. But the elephant in the room and keeping it real is that the relationship has not been what it was before. And it's not the recruit's job to make that relationship better. It doesn't work that way. Or you can say, listen, we're gonna go in this direction and let us and then be transparent and straight up and honest and say we're gonna move in this direction. Has that been done or not? We're yet to see. Jaden got invited to the spring game. He was out there, but that's the first time he's been on campus since he's been in Mustang, which ironically they've been there for a month and a half. Is a little bit weird to me. And I'll tell anybody this to their face, coaches included. It's nothing with the problem with everybody is nobody really wants to stay straight up what it is. But they're stuck on we need 2 quarterbacks in the room. We got to get 2 arms. We got to get 2 arms. So we'll see how it plays out. You know what I mean? We got to go where we are loved and wanted. That's the way it works. If it doesn't feel the same, then you might got to go somewhere else.
Right.
But right now we're locked in. I mean, we're still locked in. Jaden is really concentrating on having the best year he can have at Mustang and being a leader on and off the field and being the best quarterback that he can be. We're working with Jeff Christensen, Patrick Mahomes quarterback coach. We got some work in with him. I've worked with him, and we're just gonna continue to focus on the process and loving the process. And that's the film study, getting better as a player, you know, being on top of your craft. These are the things that we gonna focus on that's gonna help him be the best player he can be. And everything else is gonna fall in line because there's been a lot of disrespect when it comes to the type of player that he is, the skill set that he is, and they'll see. When you line them up, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So we're excited about this new opportunity. He loves the community of Mustang. They've treated him really well, him and his family really well, embraced him as a player, as a person. And we're excited about the opportunities. There's no playing going on, fellas. It's a serious thing. And what I would tell you like this, man, is that people got to understand, you got to value. What I told one of the coaches yesterday was this, and I'm serious about this part. Jaden is still an 18-year-old human being kid, right? And he got feelings and he's got emotions, and people got to remember that. Like, you go through this process thinking that you're loved, you're told, hey, you're married to us, this is what we're going to do, so on and so forth, whatever the case might be. And then all of a sudden that whole narrative changes. That's a lot, man, especially when you thought that, this was it. You know what I mean? Jaden was Oklahoma everything. Jaden went to the Texas football camp with an Oklahoma backpack on. He went to the Texas football camp last summer with a Oklahoma backpack on throughout the whole time. So he's always been all OU. The problem is, nobody wants to say it, is they wanna venture and they want to get Bowe Bentley. Bowe Bentley has an official visit set up with nobody else on the visit. Let that sink in. The week before we get out there, there's nobody else on the visit as of now. Now that can change, gentlemen. There's a lot of time between now and that particular time. But as of now, the way the narrative is set up is that all in on Bowe Bentley. Just think about it. And listen, I'm just look at it. What the problem is, people don't want to do is just look at it, look at what it is. It's exactly what it is. The communication is lackluster. It's not like he's talking to Buck every week, or the quarterback coach every week. It's not that. So the writing is on the wall, and a lot of people don't want to understand what that is. I'm just being honest and truthful. A lot of people want to blow smoke or say, "Oh no, it's just the way that we do things." Listen, when you're recruiting a kid, and a kid knows if you really, really want him to be there, fellas, and that's how it was up until we committed and up until all of this stuff started happening, and now it's in that weird state. And it's weird for the people that don't know it. It ain't weird for me. It's just real. And the realness is, at the end of the day, is they're going to go all in on Bowe Bentley because they got Jaden committed, because they want to bring in 226s. And that's just what they're stuck on doing it. So we'll see how it all plays out.
Yeah.
Any more questions on that?
Nope. I'm
No,
good.
I say that I know that you're straight shooting, and I also know that you're not fully letting loose too. So you obviously know that I'm fairly intimate with this also, and
Yeah,
I
so
hate
am I.
it
And I would
because
tell you that I'm glad about the straight shooter part. We do that on this show. That's how we roll here. So I'm glad
Yeah.
that I'm glad that you're
Listen,
doing
this
what
this
you
this
want
is
to
one of
do.
the first podcasts that I've been on. Jaron asked me to do it based upon the fact that he respects the way that you guys operate. And the bottom line is and like I said before, it has nothing to do with the O'Neal side of it. But anybody in this world, in this country, in the state of Oklahoma, anywhere in college football, would be a fool to think that two quarterbacks in the top 10, the top 15 class are gonna go to the same school.
Yeah. And especially now that
It's
you're
the
gonna have you've got your rev share plus I
You
mean,
got
and
your
you only have
revenue
so much.
share shit coming in. It's a clusterfuck, man. Like, at the end of the day, if you need an arm, there's a way to get arms. There's walk-ons to get arms. You can go get a 1-year rental out the portal as an arm. You know what I mean? I understand the 25 class is pretty much done, so they don't really want to dab into that. There's other ways to do it. But bringing in top 2-tier guys, to me, it ain't about competition, fellas. It's not that. Show me another program in the country, another stellar program, another historic program like the University of Oklahoma is in college football that's doing it. Give me one. You
yeah,
can't. That's my point.
It doesn't happen.
it's not
It
going to
doesn't
work.
happen.
It's not going to work out. Yeah.
Well, only one of them is going
So
to be
we'll
there.
see.
That's for sure. So I mean, we know that. I mean, it's.
Only one of them
You
has a
hope one of
chance.
them's gonna be. You hope
Yeah.
one of them's gonna be there.
I was going to
That's
say.
what
I
you
was going
hope.
to say. Well, yeah, you're right. You're right. You better hope you get one
Because
of
you
them.
you mess around with fire, you get your ass burnt.
True.
Think
Which
about
is
it.
the same
Because
situation. Mhm.
you keep playing around with it, and that's, oh, hey, this is what we doing. And again, I'm all about, you got to protect the brand. Nobody's bigger than the brand. If you're gonna bring in two guys, blah 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 blah. Okay, well then we'll see what happens. Maybe there's a backup plan. I don't know. If they do the right thing, we are in Mustang, Oklahoma. They are 25 minutes away from the campus.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly how it should end, because that's the same shit we saying. Like, damn. we're speechless. But the 28th is going to be a good day. Jaden's going to do a workout. Hopefully, Nagy can get out there and come see him live because he said he hadn't seen him live throw, and they'll be able to see him get out to showcase. I'll be out there. Jeff will be out there. We're going to have, we'll have a nice showcase when they can get on the road, and we'll see how it goes.
Right. Well, hey, man, we appreciate you joining us, being so straightforward with us about this stuff as well, man. And you're,
Sir, of course. I'm good, guys. You guys are great, man. If you need me, that's like, you guys got my information. Yeah, Big Day's my boy too, man. I grew up with him too, so it's good stuff. Love the show, man. If you need me, guys, give me a holler.
hey, man, appreciate you. We'll talk to you soon. And Coop, last chance here. Anything? Make sure you at least tell everybody how to find you before we go.
Yeah, check us out, Unfair Sports. I want to say one last thing about the Jaden O'Neal situation because the Jaden O'Neal, sorry, not his dad. Listen, I love this family. This family is terrific. Everything about it is terrific. What kind of has turned into this situation is Arbuckle coming in. He's going to go after his own guys, right? We're going to hear 45 times.
Understandable, right? Yeah.
You're going to hear 45 times every weekend during the fall that, this is now that he's got his guys in here, and whether it's NFL or college football. But I say this is, Jaden committed to, a previous regime. You bring in Arbuckle. Arbuckle is very, very highly thought of right now. And he went and he diagnosed and, found a guy that in Bowe Bentley who was somebody that he wanted for an extra arm. But when you have Cam Ward and you have John Mateer, people start understanding some of the words around, Ben Arbuckle being a great quarterback coach, an up-and-comer. And Bowe Bentley just happened to be a fast riser. So I saw, and the reason why I'm saying this is because I see the question in the chat, is I fully think that Arbuckle went out to really add just another arm. It just turned out because of who Arbuckle is and what Bowe Bentley is as far as a fast riser. Now, all of a sudden, it became two high-end quarterbacks in the same class. Now, I will say this. There is a world where we get neither of these guys. I think Jaden O'Neal's probably gone. If you ask me, Cooper, where you putting your money, I'm putting on the fact that he's going somewhere else because all in all, he is not receiving the communication from the staff. And I think it's almost like we're keeping communication going with the family, but it's not to the point to where what you would be doing for your program, cornerstone quarterback. I'll say this, is Bowe Bentley's not a guarantee either. There's a very real world where we're looking at new quarterbacks here in a couple weeks, that are neither named Jaden O'Neal or Bowe Bentley. Right, wrong, or indifferent, this ended up coming to a bad situation. And I think that I'm not super thrilled on how the staff has handled it to this point.
No, and I would say that that's a fair thing to say because, Mac, you're saying I think Ortege knows that OU has moved on. OU hasn't moved on. They've yet to say one time to this kid that we're going in another direction. They keep telling him we're going to take two quarterbacks. So they haven't moved on, at least not as far as they're telling him. If you're the O'Neal family, what would you think other than they're trying to hold on to us just in case they don't get Bowe Bentley, and then we'll see kind of what happens after that.
That's what it looks like because it is and again, you have to take this is basically like a wish version of the Nico situation right now.
Correct.
To where it is the managing of the quarterback position in college football. The only part with Ortege that I disagree with is I don't think that we were targeting two high-end quarterbacks. We were targeting a low-end quarterback who just happens to turn into a fast riser and a guy who's getting a lot of attention from a lot of different programs. Right. I don't know if and I would say this is Jaron showed me a video of the excitement that Norvell down in Florida State showed when Jaden pulled up on a golf cart. That's what I want my kid to be celebrated as, not a guy on a group text where his OC is not participating. And so I don't think that this is a deal to where, you did Jaden dirty. I think it's a deal to where you didn't place him in the spot that you should have. And you just got lackadaisical and maybe got a little bit too sure of yourself in the situation, especially with all the stuff. Moving to Oklahoma, moving here. when it all boils down to it, and I've told Jaron this the same way, the O'Neal family, whatever you need from me, whether you end up in Norman or you end up somewhere else, I will take care of you. And
Right.
this relationship.
Fantastic. The problem is that what I don't love is that it doesn't feel like you're being straightforward and honest with them. And that's what we're asking for. And we just got done talking about all this stuff with Nico and whether or not he's being honest and whether or not Josh was being honest. And the truth is, we don't know. And I mean, again, I think it paints a picture, you know what I mean? And I love Oklahoma and I love Coach Venables and everything about it. I would love to see them at least just be straightforward with the guy. If he's not in your plans, then say that, you know?
And again, I don't think that it's a situation where he's not in the plans. I just think what it is um, he has a certain. I mean, Arbuckle has a certain style. He went out there, and again, when it all boils down to it, I'm going to love this team and I'm going to support this team. I don't have to agree every single thing. Now, that being said, it's still ran by people, and it's still played by people, and it's still affected by people, and that's going to, which is pretty much going. I saw Neilio's response too. That's pretty funny. But when it all comes down to it, Arbuckle wants Bowe Bentley.
Yeah, I get it.
I got after PG a while back because we were in the situation to where Jaden was potentially coming on, and at that point we had Jaden, Sperry, Hawkins, Arnold, and he had the next 6 years of our quarterback. I think that you were on that show. It fluctuates so much more than it's ever done, and you're not going to have guys giving announcements saying for the next 3 to 4 years I'm going to play my college ball. Like they literally just. It's a 1 year agreement. That's what you really need to start thinking of this as, is every single player that comes here, if they are worth their weight in salt, they're a 1 year player.
Look, I think that if you want to know who I think the best player is, I think it's Jaden O'Neal. But I don't have any say in this matter. Coop doesn't have any say in this matter. This isn't, but I will say this. I can tell you that there's no way in hell that either one of these kids would, if they felt like it was that the other guy was the guy, and I think that we all feel like it's, Bentley is Arbuckle's guy. I mean, I think that's clear. And I don't think that there's any way that you can expect Jaden O'Neal to come with him and waste a year of his life instead of going in somewhere that he's wanted, like what we saw, yes, on that video when he showed up and they're waiting on him at the golf cart. And they look like the program to me. The only thing that was missing was cheerleaders in the band. And Darnell, ESU, we just want to welcome you. You know what I mean? So it was.
And so here's the thing is also, because I see the question, who's the better player? Nobody knows because they have not thrown a damn football in college football yet. And if you would ask me,
I think everybody's going to have their own. Everybody's got their own preferences. I'm not saying that Arbuckle's wrong. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I like O'Neal better.
Yeah. Now, and it's also, I mean, who's to say that in 3 years that Ben Arbuckle's going to be here? And who's to say that somebody who wants a little bit more of a prototypical pro-style quarterback isn't going to be here? So so here's my final answer on it is, for what Arbuckle wants to run, Bowe Bentley fits the mold better. Who's the better quarterback? Again, we all thought Nico, and we're having this conversation going into the year last year, Jackson versus Nico.
I love this. Yeah.
Jackson versus Nico. Now neither of those dudes play at that university.
I want the best for the player, And I've said this before. I mean, I've said this before. I really like Bowe Bentley too. I don't think he's got the same arm that Jaden has, but I think that he's got some other things. He's a runner type. He's going to run and get around out of the pocket and do some of that kind of stuff. I get it, but I don't know that you can't teach 6'4" and rock it like that. You can't.
No.
And
you can't, and especially
you watch his last game in California. He had 7 touchdown passes. 7.
But at the same time, like, I mean, if I'm saying like you had to insert one of those two guys into this team this year, I think I go a little bit more towards what does the team look like around it? Because I think that if you give, you give Jaden O'Neal a couple of studs at wide receiver, and that guy can cook and he can get out there and do some things. But until we see the receiver room stay healthy and the offensive line do some good blocking, I'd rather have somebody who can scoot around.
Think about this as a whole. How many quarterbacks are starting and ending their career at the same place in college now? I mean, we just saw it again. I mean, we're seeing it again with Nico right now, but the two quarterbacks that played for the Natty last year were both transfers. Think about the year before.
The quarterback's leaving right now. You've got Cam Ward, who's a transfer, a multi-time transfer.
Yep,
You're going to have
twice.
Shador Sanders, who was a transfer.
Right.
You're going to have Quinn Ewers, who is a transfer. I mean, all these guys are going to end up being that way because, again, I think that there's a little bit on both sides. Is you bring in a dude who is going to potentially do, JT Daniels transfer like 47 times.
47, 48 times. Same with same with
I don't think you can throw shade at the kid.
You
I
can't
really
throw
don't.
shade at the kid on this one. It has nothing to do with him if he doesn't show up here.
And it's not a situation where his dad said, "Hey, I don't feel the love," and like, I've had lots of conversations and I've seen lots of stuff, and it's just a situation where, and I'm not saying that nobody from the university has talked to him. You know, Todd Bates talks to him, Brent Venables talks to him. He just doesn't hear from the OC, and that
That's
doesn't
the one that
line up.
matters. That's the one that matters,
Yeah.
right? He chooses the quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen,
And so,
and I'm not even
it's gonna
necessarily
be
saying, man, I understand where Arbuckle's coming from. He wants his guy. I get it.
and again, I just think it's a situation where you
But
got two ships.
it's never going to be
each other.
Jaden's fault. It's never going to be Jaden's fault, though,
Oh,
if
no,
he
no.
doesn't show up at Oklahoma.
No, there shouldn't be smack, and there's going to be all kinds of different stuff. And here, and I'll say this too. You saw it with Ortege there, and in talk, these guys aren't going out and just blasting the university. They're trying to advocate for Jaden and the family
Sure.
in a respectable manner while still showing some of their frustration and disgust.
Can you blame him? Can you blame him?
In the world that we live in now. I mean, let's be honest, Jason. We're a bad situation away from Brent Venables and Arbuckle and everybody being gone next year. I mean, that's still a very real possibility. Do I think it's possible? Do I think it's going to happen? No. But
No.
like you
But
go out
and I
and
also
you have
think it would have to be worse than like last year. I feel like for them to actually pull the trigger on dumping $35 million contract for him and all that. We've talked about that a lot. I don't know how in true danger Coach V is, but but listen, that doesn't mean that he wouldn't be in true danger if that offense looks like shit again.
Yeah. So that's where I'm going with it is. So let's not get all up in arms about one of two guys who we have still never seen play football at Oklahoma. Never, you got to go. We got to go handle business in the transfer portal, get a couple pieces. That's where we are as a program right now.
You brought it up, man. You brought it up. All right, guys.
Jason, this is a looming story, and I'd like for everybody on here to go, no, you know what? These guys were talking about this a couple weeks ago, and so we know what's going on. This is okay.
I've been kind of waiting on it I've been kind of waiting on it a little bit because we've had some conversations, but obviously you and I back channel a little bit. Chris Mason and I, same thing. We kind of have been seeing what's going on. I haven't wanted to bring it up. I don't want to throw you under the bus, but I also don't. I mean, obviously at some point, we had to have a conversation, and I am appreciative of the O'Neal family for their trust in us. And I mean, Jaron was, Ortega's on here because of Jaron, and we appreciate that. You know what I mean? And he's reached out to me just because he enjoys the show. I had no idea. You know what I mean?
I will say this. I do this. The number one reason why I do this now and do these podcasts and try to keep myself ingrained is so that I can know what is legitimate. Because there's so much stuff out there. And so Jay, love you, brother. Thanks for hopping in here.
Yeah.
I just 100% know this, that there's conversations going to go all over the place, like the Nico situation. And it's, what's true and what's fabricated, what's what's exaggerated. I follow these things so that I can know, and then I don't mind sharing what I've learned, right? That's kind of what I want to do.
Well, dumbass.